Hello.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. We are from group 32 and we're gonna presenting about e-commerce transaction in Malaysia. So, we have three of us and my name is NURLIDYA Natasha binti Ismail. My matric number is AP 210137.
My name is NURRIEZALYN binti ROSELAN and my metric number is AP 210011.
Hello, my name is NURUL and Binti Mohamed Idris. My matric number is AP210030.
For the introduction, what is e-commerce? E-commerce is about electronic commerce, which is used by many people for shopping, promoting a product, making an online payment, or transmitting finance that usually require the internet. So, there are four types of business transaction. Firstly, business to business, and it is also called business B2B. And secondly, business to consumer, B2C. And third, consumers to consumers, and also called C2C. And lastly, consumers to business, C2B. In economic, we often use B2B and B2C. Example of e-commerce transaction is Lazada, Shopee, Personal Shopper, and Amazon. So, meaning of e-commerce. E-commerce is use of internet and web to transact business involved digitally, enable commercial transaction between and among organization and individuals. Consumer Protection Act 2019 defines e-commerce as buying or selling of goods and service, including digital products, over digital or electronic network. I'm gonna pass this presentation to Alim.
Hello, I will present about law legislation. There is around 16 law governing e-commerce in Malaysia. For example, the Electronic Commerce Act 2006, the Contract Act 1950 for the contract in Malaysia, and the Consumer Protection 2012, which write a set of requirements that e-commerce must fulfill. E-commerce is also governed by another law including including the Computer Crime Act 1997 and the Personal Data Protection Act 2010 that protect data and information collected by unauthorized merchants from consumers. Some laws are indirectly relevant to e-commerce. For example, the Company Registration Law of 1956 deals with the registration of companies, including online businesses, and the Companies Law of 2016 deals with the formation and registration of companies in Malaysia. Business within the meaning of RODA 1956 includes all the forms of trade, craft, profession, occupation, and other activity that is carried out with, with the intention of making profit, but exclusively for each office or employment or non-profit enterprise or any specific activity include therein. Online businesses in Malaysia operate by foreign nationals, which known as non-permanent resident in Malaysia, does not need to be registered with SSN, but must establish through incorporate or company registration. For clarify, the foreign citizen track to establish online in Malaysia must establish a company, or if the track already have a foreign company incorporate under the relevant foreign law, must register the foreign company under CA 2016. One of the pressing questions that has risen in the context of cross-border e-commerce in recent years since the formal of since the formal online application of for local business registration with SSN is whether online businesses operating outside of Malaysia should be subject to the same registration requirement. Otherwise, cross-border cross-border online companies still have the option to do most of their transactions with local consumers, as this means they are not subject to requirement of Malaysian law. The main law in Malaysia that provides a protection to customers in any transaction involved is Consumer Protection Act 1999. Since this law is not relevant nowadays, they have tightened the law and changed the name into Consumer Protection Registration 2012. This law is quite similar to the Direct Sale and Anti-Pyramid Scheme Act 1993 has been amended in 2010. On the other hand, the Ministry of Information, Communication and Culture has a few laws that has been made. There are Communication and Multimedia Act 1998, Communication and Multimedia Commission Act 1998, and Personal Data Protection Act 2010. The main function of CCM law involve the broadcasting, computing, and telecommunicating industry. The main function of MCMC is to protect consumer information. If there is any problem regarding communication and multimedia can be directed to Communication and Multimedia Consumer Forum of Malaysia, known as CFM. The Personal Data Protection Act 2010 thus has been enacted for the safety or privacy of data. This law is a step that has been taken to make sure any consumer information that is made in any transaction via online shopping will not be exposed without the owner's permission. Next, I will pass this presentation to Ayu.
Fraud, legal and liabilities issues. Responsibility for damage caused by internet fraud is an interesting topic. Over the years, robust protocol has been developed to ensure that check and credit card fraud is restricted. The first step that has been taken in the European Union Directive, which is commonly known as the Electronic Commerce Directive. Its purpose is to regulate cross-border transactions and provide legal certainty to both business and customer. The court of your place of residence is responsible for the question. In the future, court will have to face and apply foreign law. This will lead to significant delays as the court involved have to consider the law that apply to the individual cases. Next, in order to enhance the security of people who trade and buy over the internet, David Pine, the commissioner, is responsible for protecting consumer rights. The European Commission has been working on the Common Code of Conduct, which has specified the information that a company must provide on its website or in a purchase information email. And they will inform you in detail about the payment terms, final price, and delivery date through email. In an actual situation, a person can request information about his or her data, and measures are taken to ensure the consent has been obtained in advance for the processing their personal data. This consent, often given on daily basis, disclaims that the person knows of his right to legally process the data. Foreign service providers (FSP) is defined as any person outside of Malaysia who provide digital service to a consumer, which include any person outside of Malaysia who operates an online platform to buy and sell goods or provide service, who can who conduct digital service provision transaction on behalf of any person. As an example of FSP who have registered are Spotify and Airbnb. In 2019, the Malaysia International Revenue Board (IRB) issued guidelines on the taxation of e-commerce transaction 14, which is the guideline of the on the taxation of e-commerce that are intended to provide guidance on the treatment of income tax in relation to e-commerce transaction. Next, Malaysia recently introduced a new tax regime for digital service that is effective January 1 on the 1st January 2020. Of As for FSP with a total service value greater than 500,000 for a period of 12 months or less must be registered. According to ECA 2006, electronic commerce is a valid and legally recognized means of e-commerce. According to Section 7 of ECA 2006, a contract concluded through electronic communications is valid, binding, and enforceable. CP 2016 regulates in two group of people. The first one is e-commerce trade who do business via personal websites that are provided and maintained by e-commerce market operates, and the second one is e-commerce marketplace operators for the websites for e-commerce retail such as Shopee with the respective obligation as follow law that has been stated in Article 5.1 and Regulation 5.2. Article 5.1 specifies that each operator of the e-commerce marketplace shall keep a record of the names, telephones, number and addresses of the e-commerce reseller for the period of 2 years. As for Regulation 5.2 established that an operator of the electronic commerce marketplace who does not meet the requirement of Regulation 5.1 commits an offence. As a conclusion, since electronic commerce is still developing, the law that has been already enforced are not yet comprehensive and require further development in order to adapt and meet the needs of the market and its participants at the relevant point in time. Perhaps, in addition to amending existing law to consolidate and modernize them, similarly, new laws may be enacted to the future strength to further strengthen the current law at the same time as Malaysia e-commerce development and expansion. In the future, e-commerce is expected to become an equally popular as an alternative to personal business transaction for consumers to shop and for merchants to do businesses. This is because it is practically convenience and accessibility. That is all from us. Thank you.